Well, this is part 10 in a series of videos documenting how we build a soundproof drum room. In this episode, we're going to be meeting the owner of the studio. We're going to be doing the big reveal. So he's going to do a sound test. We're going to get to look around the outside and the inside. So let's have a look in a bit more detail what it looks like. Got the 110 by 50 portrait window here, which has got 8 layers of glass in. On this one we got the dark oak redwood cladding, which has got a 10mm shadow gap. Down at the bottom here we've got the 6mm 3-core armoured cable coming in, which comes from the house. That's on a 32 amp breaker. Around the back we've got the Fujitsu professional aircon system, which goes through into the studio, and that's all nicely siliconed in where the pipe goes through. We've got the double door configuration here, so these are our sand-filled doors, which are really chunky. A little around the back, so storage area, this is a different cladding. This is the anthracite plastisol coated sheet metal, which is normally used for roofing, but it's good on the side of buildings. It's totally maintenance free. This room's got all the drums in. We'll actually put some pictures of this before it got full of drum kits and cymbals and stuff. We can't actually get into that at the moment because we haven't got a key, but that's a great storage area, and obviously add on to the studio. Around the back, got another light here which can be switched independently, so we can illuminate this area. Got an outside socket on the back here. Obviously guttering systems on the back. This is our active mechanical fan, which is in a waterproof box. And this sucks air out of the room and then passively goes in through the other vent on the other side without any loss of sound. So we're just about to meet the owner of the studio. He's going to take us round the space, have a look at some of the gear in there, any thoughts on the studio itself. So we're going to go in there now and meet him. It is, of course, Mr. Elliot Henshaw.
Well, this is obviously the second one of these you've built for me. The first one I think you did when I lived in London.
That's right.
And that was there was an already existing brick build that you put a room within a room.
That's it. Yeah.
This one built from scratch to my spec, I think.
That's it. Yeah.
And it's just marvellous.
Yeah, it's quiet, isn't it?
There's a reason I keep using you. Because you're cheap.
Well, to be fair, you are local.
Yeah, I'm local. So yeah, it's great. It's got everything I need in here. Obviously, when you build these things, you put all these fantastic things up on the walls.
Acoustic panels,
panels that absorb the sound. Carpet, the electrics. It's all done. It's just beautiful. As soon as you're finished, you can just walk in and start setting stuff up.
Yeah. Just move straight in.
And doing stuff. And obviously I've just about got enough room for 2 kits in here. So I've got the jazz kit here, which is an old kit of Louis Belton's.
Yeah, fantastic. Isn't it?
Normally Louis would have had two of these, and I have got another one in the store in the storage, another kick drum. Yeah. Louis, for those of you who don't know, Louis invented the concept of two kick drums in the 1940s, playing with Duke Ellington.
And what size is that?
That's a 24 by 14. Wow. And then I think that's a 12 or a 13, and then a 16 down here.
Yeah, it's all big drums, isn't it?
They're all big drums, beautiful. From this was his touring kit in the UK and Europe in the late 60s, early 70s. Yeah. When he was still with Slingerland, and then what happened was he shifted over to Remo drums, I think. Right. And he gave this kit to his promoter over here, who then auctioned it. A friend of mine got it at an auction in the late 80s, and then I ended up with it.
Wow. It's amazing. So have you done recordings with this one?
Yeah, so my recording setup, this is my recording kit. This is most of the stuff that I record is more of the funk and the pop and the heavier kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I do get a lot of jazz stuff to do as well. So all I will do when I record that kit is move the overheads and the kick drum mic over to this.
Yeah.
Because when you're recording jazz drums, I don't like to close mic.
Yes.
All the different toms and the snare drum. I like to have an ambient sound.
Yeah.
And again, this room's great for that because it does soak up with the acoustic panels, but you've got nothing on the ceiling, so you are getting a bit of the live.
Yeah. And also, just to mention, the ceilings are a little bit low.
Yes.
Obviously, because you've got a room within a room, so that's that one compromise of the soundproofing, and then not having to get planning permission for the room.
Yes.
Obviously, if you were going to go way higher, it'd be more expensive. Plus, there's the planning permission element. So
sure.
Obviously, it keeps it nice and compact, but it does work. It's
absolutely.
It's for the size of the room. So that's cool. So what about this kit then? Could you tell us a bit about this one?
Yeah, actually, this kit, it was the first kit. I'm with Ludwig Drums
right
now. I'm an endorser for them. And when I first signed with them, they sent me this kit as a kind of it's kind of an intermediate level kit while they were building the kit that I'd asked them for.
Yeah.
Which is the kit I use when I'm playing for Leo Sayer and all the other things that I do.
Yeah.
Which is in the storage bit you built for me next door.
Yeah. We didn't go in there, but that is full of stuff. So we've got some photos when it was empty.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's crazy busy. Yeah.
So this one, before we moved here and I moved everything into this place, that kit used to be my kind of chuck it in the car and go and do a local gig.
Yeah.
It was my kind of go-to kit. But what I wanted when I came here was a kit that is just permanently in here.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about it is, although it's not like the all singing, all dancing, super expensive drums, when I got it out the cases, it just sounded beautiful. It was just like it mics up so well. And, so it's just a standard 20-inch kick drum, which I've got quite a lot of deadening in there to make it more punchy. Whereas this one, I mean, I don't know if it'll pick it up on me.
It should get a bit.
You can hear that this one's wide open,
Oh yeah, wow.
Whereas if you compare that to this one, which I've got, the obligatory pillow and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Completely different.
It's got quite for a 20-inch. That's got some serious punch, hasn't it?
Yeah, because normally for this sort of stuff, like the poppier, the heavier stuff, I'd use a 22, but I don't need to. That kit sounds great.
That's insane. Yeah.
And then it's a 10, 12, and a 14 toms. And then all the cymbals, I'm with Zildjian cymbals, so I use all their stuff, and I've been with them 25, 30 years now.
Yeah.
I never go anywhere else really. I mean, there are some great cymbals out there, but the great thing about this is I can play any time, day or night, and the neighbours are not going to hear anything. When I lived in London, and the place that you built for me in London, I remember getting calls to do sessions like I'd be driving back from a gig and somebody from abroad would call and say, "Oh, can you get this session done tonight?"
Yeah.
So, and I'd be like, "Well, yeah, I can go straight into my room when I get home."
Yeah.
And I'd be getting in at sort of 1 o'clock and playing tracks to send to people abroad.
Yeah.
Never had any complaints from the neighbours.
Yeah.
And I think, like I said, it's kind of outside the. If you were stood right outside, you get a little bit of spill, but nothing of any note. And then certainly if it's the middle of the night and you're asleep in your house, you're not going to hear a thing.
No. It's sort of like the further you get away from the building, obviously that any sound that leaks through dissipates, doesn't it? So
yeah, totally.
Obviously your last build was a garage conversion, so that was more like a block construction.
Sure.
Obviously this one's timber frame, so we've got to work pretty hard to kind of match that. But I suppose in comparison, obviously I heard your last one and this one, they seem pretty similar, I guess. I suppose the only one of the differences with this one is you've got the aircon.
Well, I mean, it's funny, isn't it? I should have had that in London. It's a bit sunnier in London.
Yeah.
Up north, but unfortunately that blows out heat as well as cold.
Yes, that is.
Well, but it's on at the moment, and I had that put in after the place was built, and I know you advised the company that I booked. It was a company run by a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And that is a godsend. I mean, I was in here 3 or 4 weeks ago when I was still putting stuff in, and it was still pretty chilly outside.
Yeah.
Stick the heat on there, and I only had to turn it on for 10 minutes, and the room was cosy warm. Yeah. And now, if I'm recording, obviously I turn it off while I'm recording. On the noise.
That's it. Yeah.
But then when I've done a take and I'm a bit hot, click the switch, and within seconds it's nice.
So. The beauty of that, with it being on a remote, is you can do that quickly, can't you? You can just turn it on and off. So
it's amazing.
So they can be retrofitted, the sort of aircon units, and it's just a case of making sure both sides are pretty well plugged up afterwards. But the guys that fitted it did a great job, and they definitely did that. So that's great. So there's no leakage from there. We've also got, there's a bit of a sort of vent system here as well. So we've obviously got, which I spoke through earlier when I was outside, we got a couple of vents in the ceiling. We put these in anyway as well, just sort of like a passive and an active vent to get a bit of fresh air in the room. So it kind of also allows the room to breathe a bit. So, you don't want anything getting damp, or it just helps the room breathe in terms of condensation and that sort of stuff.
Sure,
as well as those people who haven't got the aircon, it allows them to breathe. So it's pretty handy. So we're obviously going to do a bit of a. We thought we'd do a bit of a sound test because, it's a nice sunny day, and it's hopefully it'll be quiet out there now, because before there was a lot of mowers out, and that's not really a fair test.
Braying in the field opposite.
We've got a resident donkey in the back as well. So, we thought it'd be good to do a test when it's fairly quiet, because you can obviously hear the little bit of spillage that comes out, but it's a bit of a fairer test than when there's, like in London, there's quite a lot of background noise often, isn't there?
Sure, yeah.
So you can get up to 50, 60 dB just with background noise, whereas in sort of quieter spaces it can be 45 to 50 dB. It's quite a big difference, really.
Sure.
So in these sort of areas, you compete you've got to be competing with very quiet spaces, and sort of ambient levels outside are very low. So we'll do a bit of a test. So what have you got? You're going to play us something?
Yeah, I'll play. I've got a backing track that I can play to. What I'll do is I'll record it on my setup.
Yeah.
You film it.
We're going to film it,
and then I'll send you the audio, and you can, if you want to sync it up.
That's perfect. Yeah, and we're going to try and. Basically, our van broke down, so all our sort of testing equipment is in Leicester at the moment. So we haven't got. So what we might do is set up an iPhone with a dB meter on it. I know they're not the best, or it's not like professional equipment, but it might just give us a bit of an idea of. What do you know? What sort of volume you normally play at? Are you fairly loud? Yeah, you are loud, aren't you?
I think anyone who knows me, I mean, obviously, I have to play quiet for the gigs that I do occasionally when I do jazz stuff. But for this, I'll be hammering it. So
okay. So
get an idea. And this is which was off Spice Fusion, which is the big band I run with my friend Simon Niblock.
Yeah.
That was our first album called Trying Too Hard, and this is the title track.
Right. Okay. Fantastic. So it gives us a couple of minutes to get set up, and then we'll get cracking, and let's look forward to hearing that. Yeah, nice one.
Excellent.
Thanks, Elliot. Cheers.
No worries. Thank you.
Thanks, dude.
No worries.
I'd be interested to see what that dB meter picked up there.
I was f***ing leathering. It was absolutely f***ing leathering.
Wow. Amazing.
Lovely.
We're just going to do a sound test on the studio. We did a recording the other day, but we didn't have the dB meter, which is one of these. So I'm going to test the kit today. And what we're going to do is going to have a camera running in the studio. We're going to have a camera running out here with a dB meter as well, possibly. Let's just see what the ambient noise is outside the studio first of all. If I just stop talking, let's see if we can get a sort of baseline figure. So it's just over 50 dB. So we're getting around 37 dB there as a sort of baseline test. That's with me breathing. Obviously very quiet in here. Obviously for me to be very still and obviously just breathing, we're getting about 37. Okay, we're going to do a little sound test now. Got the meter. Obviously it's picking up my voice, you can see. It's quite close to me. Hopefully the camera microphone will bring out, sort of even out the background noises so you can hear the difference what's going on. But you'll see the real-time effect on the decibel meter. We've also got some building work going on in the background. So that should give you some real life comparison. I'm going to signal Chris to start playing now. I've stopped him. You can see there's the background level and my voice effect on the meter again. Let's just do this one more time. There's the background level. You can see even the birds sometimes can set off the meter. You can see the meter reacting to me. Let's set Chris off again. Okay, that should give us a good comparison and hopefully we can compare that with the footage and the meter inside the room. Hope you enjoyed the final video in a series of 10 documenting how we build a soundproof drum room. In this episode we did the sound test and we learned that any sound escaping, which is minimal, can't really be picked up on a professional dB meter. So that's pretty good. Don't forget to hit the like button and to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Hi, this is PJ from soundproofing expert.com. And if you've enjoyed the videos, whoa!